Welcome back. Haley Gibson here. Today I'm going to be discussing some of the most updated research. Science is showing us that the type of gut bacteria we have actually influences our metabolism. Many studies are even showing that changes in our gut flora are highly correlating with obesity and other metabolic disorders. So, you remember that girl who seemed to just be able to eat everything and not gain a pound? She was the smallest girl in the class, yet she ate the cake, the cookies, all the stuff that should make her huge, but she just wasn't. So, we always assume that she just had a rock star metabolism. How many people do you know? You may be one of them who has done everything right and still not lost weight. This weight loss resistance is becoming more and more common, and I believe science is showing us that whenever our gut flora is imbalanced, not to mention all the other contributors to weight gain, including our food sources, the chemicals, the toxins, the excess loads on our bodies, but our gut flora is also becoming more and more imbalanced. So if we can get our gut flora corrected, this is a great way to start losing weight. So for those of you who don't know me, before I get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a registered nurse and functional nutritionist. I work with Dr. Jockers. I help make customized plans for people to help them get to the root cause of their problem. We review lab work, and I like working with people one-on-one to help them discover their health struggles and fix them. So down below that, you can see a picture of myself at a Savage race with a group of girls. Many of those are the nurses that I used to work with. I love them dearly. They're great girls. And then over to the right, you can see myself with my now fiance. We actually got engaged on our Colorado trip just a few weeks ago, so we're excited about that. So let's get started. So science is showing us that if we can balance our microbiome, we can significantly change our metabolism and quit counting calories. Caloric restriction is, sure, it works initially. You know, you cut what you eat, you work out more, and you're going to lose a little weight, but your body's smarter than that. It's going to adapt and actually cause you to start gaining weight when you do that. And then whenever you do try to just eat normal, your body's going to start storing all of those calories because it's been starved. So caloric restriction really doesn't work, but it's fantastic that we're learning about the gut microbiome and its role in metabolism. So the type and the amount of each species plays a large role in how lean or obese we are, as well as our risk factors for developing diabetes, amongst other related metabolic disorders. So your gut bacteria, it, 1, controls the amount of calories you extract from food. It, 2, causes cravings. 3, it extracts nutrients such as B12 from our foods. And if you've watched some of my other videos, you can see how important B12 is for functioning, and especially a role in weight gain and weight loss and just overall function. Our gut microbiome also produces something called short-chain fatty acids, which we're going to talk more in depth about. So this slide kind of puts together how impactful the bacteria in our gut can be. So you see this little ratio here. In our body, microbes outnumber human cells 10 to 1. Can you believe that? That just blows my mind still, that we have that many microbes in our body. So of course they influence our metabolism. It just makes so much sense. So different bacterial species will convert the same foods into different end products. So that's what this is demonstrating. We need good gut bacteria. So this means that if we have a harmful balance of gut bacteria, they can make foods, including healthy foods, and they can take these foods and convert them into compounds that lead to fat storage, insulin resistance, gas production, and inflammatory compounds. On the other hand, a healthy balance of gut bacteria can create compounds that lead to fat burning, fat storage prevention, inflammation reduction, improved satiety, improved gas production, and increased insulin sensitivity. So our original gut flora has a set metabolism and is highly responsible for our ability to lose or gain weight. It is also heavily influenced by our lifestyle and diet. Big influential factors include antibiotics, chemicals, processed foods, pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, toxins, pathogens, medications, supplements, and anything else that enters into our digestive tract. All of these things are going to influence the stability of our gut wall lining, and it's also going to influence the type of bacteria that can flourish in our system. So thankfully, this can be adjusted by introducing the proper bacteria into the digestive tract and feeding them the right foods to help them flourish and maintain a healthy metabolism. Flora not only plays a role in extracting nutrients from our foods, but it can also produce toxins. It can also rob nutrients from our foods, leaving us at a higher risk for diseases such as autoimmunity, allergies, and metabolic disorders. For instance, if we have yeast overgrowth, yeast is becoming well known for robbing us of B6. So if we're eating B6, yeast actually robs the majority of that, and we can have things like neurotransmitter imbalance because our GABA, serotonin, and dopamine, these are all neurotransmitters. They require B6 to be produced, but if we're not putting out adequate amounts of B6 because a bad gut flora is robbing us of that, we're not going to put out adequate amounts of neurotransmitters. So we can start to see sleep disturbances, appetite swings, mood swings, the inability to concentrate. All sorts of things can go hand in hand with this. So our gut microbiome plays a huge role in how we function. Next slide. A healthy microbiome will extract short-chain fatty acids, and this kind of shows you the pathway for that. So the inulins and fructans, these are actually foods or supplements that we would take in, and then we have our gut microbiota or your probiotics, specifically bifido and lactobacilli. These are really important. So what happens is they actually ferment the foods that we take in, and out of this they produce short-chain fatty acids. We'll talk more about those, but this can actually change our pH and, like we've been saying, affect our overall health. So short-chain fatty acids have been proven to protect against diet-induced obesity. The main short-chain fatty acids found in the colon include butyrate, propionate, and acetate. Butyrate and propionate protect against obesity by stimulating the production of satiety hormones and reducing cravings, therefore decreasing the amounts of foods ingested by the host. Acetate actually inhibits weight gain regardless of food intake and does not affect the gut hormones like butyrate and propionate do. So butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid. It is shown to enhance adaptive thermogenesis and fatty acid oxidation, which is the burning of fat. It has also been shown to improve mitochondrial function, increase insulin sensitivity, and reduce fat production. So the big takeaway about butyrate is this: it helps the body produce energy and reduce oxidative stress. It's going to reduce free radicals. Great food sources include grass-fed cheese, grass-fed butter, and grass-fed ghee. So it's really great to be cooking with all these things. Plus, it tastes delicious. Not many weight loss coaches are going to tell you to put butter on things, but that's one thing that we use a lot of. It's just the source of the butter. Reuse the original grass. Our gut flora creates a large amount of butyrate from foods high in fiber. So sources include produce such as broccoli, carrots, Brussels sprouts, green peas, apples, oranges, grapefruit. So all of these things, they're great sources for our bacteria to actually ferment into butyrate. So we must have a balanced gut flora to reap the benefits of butyrate. Propionate is produced by microorganisms such as Megasphaera, Villanelle. I can't even pronounce these, guys. I just wrote them down in an attempt. Villanella and Selenomonas. And without these organisms, we will struggle to produce an adequate amount of propionate. So propionate is vital for utilizing glucose for energy and red blood cells. The presence of propionate has been shown to increase satiety and decrease the desire for sugar and overeating. So very important for obese patients who, even though they're full and they just want to continue eating, this goes for not just obese patients, but anybody really, if we can get the right short chain fatty acids circulating in their system from a good source of fat, they're going to have that overall satiety feeling, and we'll begin correcting their gut microbiome and then enhancing their weight loss and their health. So acetic acid is a naturally occurring acid found in produce such as strawberries, apples, grapes, pineapples, and oranges. This organic acid gives vinegar its distinct flavor and smell. It can also be found in fermented vegetables, grass-fed cheese, and vinegars that are used for preparing food. So studies have shown that acetic acid actually inhibits the accumulation of body fat and hepatic lipids. So this is done without altering food consumption. The studies that I looked at showed that it actually suppressed body fat by upregulating genes necessary for fatty acid oxidation and mitochondrial processing. So this is pretty huge. Vinegar is huge for keeping us from gaining weight. So this is something I highly recommend for anyone going with wanting to lose some weight, is incorporating apple cider vinegar, and then also just using vinegar on your foods. Based on these findings, research is suggesting that acetate is a promising compound for improving obesity and obesity-linked type 2 diabetes. Another study found that not only did the intake of vinegar reduce obesity, but it also reduced serum triglyceride levels, which is huge. Triglyceride is one of the main heart factors that we look at. When we look at cholesterol, triglycerides actually concerns us more than an elevated cholesterol level. So the same study also saw that when the individuals stopped ingesting vinegar, their waistline and measurements went back to where they had initially began. So this indicates that we must be taking vinegar in on a daily basis to maintain the anti-obesity effects. It's not something that we do one time and expect those benefits to keep going. We have to keep ingesting it every day. This is a lifestyle. So the two main bacteria that have been identified for influencing the gut microbiome metabolism are Bacteroidetes and Firmicutes. A higher ratio of Firmicutes has been directly associated with obesity, diabetes, inflammation, and metabolic syndrome, whereas a higher ratio of Bacteroidetes has been associated with healthier and leaner individuals. So here are 6 ways to improve your microbiome and favor the development of Bacteroidetes instead of Firmicutes. So these steps will also create a healthier anti-inflammatory environment in your gut and improve your nutrient assimilation. We can increase Bacteroidete proliferation by feeding them foods high in fiber and eliminating sources of sugar. This is huge. The key is to increase good quality fats, non-starchy vegetables, and good quality protein. So these foods should replace grains and sugars, which are both high in glycemic index and feed candida yeast and harmful bacterial overgrowth. Artificial sweeteners also should totally be avoided due to their toxic effects, and they also feed the unhealthy bacteria. So Firmicutes feed off of sugar and simple carbs. So these species are extremely powerful, and they can actually manipulate neurotransmitter production, which then can cause your brain to crave sugar. This is huge. So we got to take care of these guys so that we're not craving sugar and getting in the way of our progress anymore. So we must eliminate their food source in order to starve them out of our system. This diet plan can still be satisfying and delicious when done correctly. Our focus should be on regulating blood sugar and having a good amount of satisfying fats and proteins with our vegetables and low glycemic fruits such as berries and a Granny Smith apple. Fats, proteins, vegetables, herbs, all of these things are really key for building the right kind of microbiome. We must introduce healthy bacteria into our gut in order for the species to take root and proliferate from feeding off of the healthy fibers. We use natural sources such as coconut water kefir, grass-fed yogurt, kombucha, and fermented vegetables in order, So these are the sources that we use to introduce the healthy bacteria. These are great food sources that should be ingested daily in order to maintain a good balance. So if you look at this list, this shows us the foods that are going to feed the Bacteroidetes best. These are great prebiotic foods and need to be incorporated in your diet on a daily basis. As far as the actual fermented foods go, we want to start with 1 tablespoon in order to allow the gut to adjust. So if you're going to start with sauerkraut, for instance, don't go eat a whole cup of sauerkraut. This can be really stressful in the digestive system. You'll probably get gassy and bloated. But if you start with 1 tablespoon and start to increase this to a couple of servings a day, then that's how you're going to best adapt to it. We actually use a supplement called Prescript Assist. This is a probiotic that we start our clients on, and we typically see the best results with. This probiotic is full of Bacteroidetes species that are needed to convert and reap the benefits of our healthy nutrients. So Prescript Assist is great. I'm actually currently on that one as well, and I can say that I've noticed a significant difference just in my bowel movements, and my thinking is actually clearer. So this has been a great supplement for me. So let's just touch a little bit on the food pyramid. So like I've been saying, we want a good standard diet of healthy, good quality fats. So avocados, coconut oil, grass-fed butter, pasture-raised eggs, extra virgin olive oil. These fats are really great for producing the butyrate that we've talked about, propionate and acetate. Well, acetate's going to come from the vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is great to use every day. So then the antioxidants, lots of vegetables, and herbs is something very powerful that people forget to use, but herbs actually have huge antioxidant properties as well as antimicrobial. So not only is it going to make your food taste better, it's also going to kill off harmful pathogens. Then we want to use low glycemic fruits such as berries, lemons, and limes. These are the best to be using. So add lemon and lime to all the things that you're cooking. Add it to your water. It's great. Clean protein, so grass-fed beef, wild-caught salmon, and pasture-raised poultry or wild game. These are the things we really want to be focusing on eating. Nuts and seeds, most people who go to this diet, they start incorporating a ton of nuts and seeds, but I will tell you, you just need about a handful or 2 a day. Nuts and seeds can actually be pretty hard on your digestive system, and some people even have to cut them out completely for a temporary amount of time. Fermented foods, as I mentioned earlier, add a tablespoon and increase to a couple of servings a day. And then as far as natural sweeteners go, stevia is the one that we highly recommend. So you can see the rest of them listed there. All right, let's talk about intermittent fasting. So this is beneficial for balancing the gut microbiome because it increases beneficial bacterial levels such as the Bacteroidetes we spoke about. It also increases human growth hormone levels, and sorry, lost my place. It increases human growth hormone, so this prevents fat storage. So begin by consuming all of your food in a 12-hour window. Keep 12 hours between your dinner and breakfast. So for instance, if you eat dinner at 7, don't eat breakfast until 7 the next morning. And then you can gradually start increasing this to a 14 to 16-hour fast. And while you're doing this, be sure to consume a large amount of water. You can add pink Himalayan sea salt. You can use MCT oil to get ketones going in your body to give you immediate energy so that you don't crash. This will just help sustain your blood sugar and keep your energy going. So the goal is to consume all of your calories within an 8 to 10-hour window because the microbes in our gut go through a cycle similar to our circadian rhythm. So when we remain in a fed state, we prevent the recycling of beneficial microflora. During the fasting period, we actually enhance our body's ability to kill the bad pathogens, and then we re-inoculate by putting in the good guys. Using lemon water and apple cider vinegar are also great for restoring gut microbiome balance. So this would be great to drink while you're doing your fast. So the 4 R's, this is just kind of a short and sweet way to approach addressing your microbiome. So in order to reduce the amount of firmicutes and other harmful pathogens, we use natural antimicrobials. So we use herbs such as oregano, thyme, basil, and rosemary. These are all essential for fighting off pathogens. Garlic, onion, lemons, apple cider vinegar, these are all great foods to use for fighting pathogens as well. So this is our starter, GI regulator. It's a concentrated form of natural antimicrobials. So we use this for patients to reduce their microbial load if bacterial or yeast overgrowth is suspected. Typically, we'll do an in-depth assessment or use an organic acid test or a stool test to figure this out. So it actually contains Oregon grapefruit, which supplies berberine. Berberine is a plant alkaloid that has proven effects in killing pathogens. So it also contains bayberry, which is formed from root bark of berry, and bayberry, which contains estrogen properties that help stimulate the maintenance of good detoxification. So this includes perspiration, stool formation, and urine production. So it helps us detox, basically. Another ingredient is grapefruit seed extract. So this contains high amounts of antioxidants that reduce free radicals, phytonutrients, and pathogen-killing molecules. So research has suggested that it is effective in killing over 800 bacterial and viral strands, 100 different strains of fungus, and even some types of parasites. So zinc is the last ingredient, which is extremely important for regulating the immune system and supporting gut health. I will usually start patients on 1 capsule with every meal and increase up to 2 if necessary. We do it on a case-by-case basis. And we are going to discuss the other R's here, so just take a glance at them, but I'm moving on. So bone broth is great for rebuilding healthy bones, relieving joint pain, hair and nail health, healing the gut, fighting infection, all these awesome things. It also reduces swelling and removes arterial plaque. So liquid nutrition is more easily absorbed by the body. It's also easier on the digestive tract, so we like to use this. We usually start with a bone broth fast that lasts 3 to 5 days. This should be done with the support of a healthcare provider. I don't advise that you just stop all food intake and only do bone broth. We actually have a method to it, but this gives the gut a break from digesting complex food, which allows the lining to heal. It also provides nutrients to rebuild the gut lining and fight off harmful pathogens. So this will significantly help fight off Firmicutes and the other harmful pathogens. You can use this bone broth recipe or use pre-made organic grass-fed or pasture-raised stock bones. Bone broth protein powder is also a great way to reap the benefits of bone broth without the hassle of making the broth itself. This is great for taking on the go and adding to unsweetened coconut milk. Personally, I like to add it to unsweetened coconut milk. I do this every day. I call it my hot cocoa, and it's delicious. And then we go through reintroducing the good guys, which we've talked about through probiotics and things like that, but we also repair the gut lining. So glutamine is huge for repairing the gut lining. Sources of aloe vera, licorice root, omega-3s, all these things are going to help us rebuild the gut lining. So bone broth is great for that. And we also use something called gut repair, and glutamine is great to just ingest every day, put in a shake, and that helps us rebuild our gut lining. So many people have tried eating healthy foods, but they fail to lose weight or see results. A major cause of this is that their gut flora is favorable for turning fibers into hydrogen and methane gas instead of fat-burning compounds, such as the short-chain fatty acids we spoke about. Many people have experienced eating a super healthy diet and only experience gas and bloating as a result. Well, obviously, this turns them away, but they got to ask why. Why am I gassy when I'm eating healthy foods? So without changing the species present in our gut, the body simply continues to suppress weight loss, increase calorie absorption, increase insulin resistance, and increase gas production. So with this approach, we are changing gene expression to favor a lean body. This approach is a much more powerful and permanent approach than the standard weight loss formulation of circulating calories in versus calories out. It's also time-consuming to calculate calories in versus calories out. So this leads to enhanced fatty acid oxidation in the liver and muscle tissues and decreased production of new fat. Metabolic reconditioning is a very effective way to lose weight by changing our metabolism at the molecular level. So that's just a little bit about how we change your metabolism by restoring your gut flora. So this is myself and Dr. David Jockers. Like I mentioned earlier, we do locally and long distance coaching where we sit down or do phone or Skype consults with you, and we figure out the root cause of your problems, and we help you set up a plan to overcome that. We look over your labs and lifestyle coaching, and we also help you with figuring out what supplements are best for you. If you're interested at all, you can go to drjockers.com and start looking at all the research that we've been doing, or you can email me at nutrition@drjockers.com if you have any questions or would like to get a plan started. So thank you for joining me today.